Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video, and I've noticed looking over my comment sections over the last couple of days that there are a lot more newcomers to the world of Monster Hunter than I initially expected. So I figured I should do a video talking about the benefits of eating before you go out on your hunts. Not only in real life, but actually eating in-game as well, because it actually gives you some pretty decent buffs. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today, which is why we're standing by the cantina. And what? Why am I holding Poogie? No. Listen, guys, we're not cooking Poogie, okay? But I did found something really cool, which is if you actually take Poogie near a flame, he gets all excited. He's like, no, don't eat me. Please don't eat me. Stop. Which I hadn't noticed before. I just brought Poogie over here because I know that you guys like Poogie, so I was like, whatever. Let's put Poogie down. Poogie's going to go to sleep. He's a little bit tired now. Just look at him. Poogie's so fluffy. Anyway, so this is the canteen. If you guys don't know where the canteen is, there is a very easy way to get there. If you just go to any place in Astera where you see the chains moving around, you can see chains there. Just go to any of these. These will give you access to the lift. Go to the lift. In the lift, there is a shortcut there that will take you directly to the canteen. So it's not that hard to get here, just in case you've never been here before, which you should have. But anyway, also in the canteen, you have one of the coolest characters ever in Monster Hunter, which is the Muscular Chef. And I do have to mention, Capcom, if you were to make a collector's edition that had a Muscular Chef statue, that would be way cooler than a Nergigante statue. Just saying, this Muscular Chef is friggin' amazing. But anyway, this is the canteen. You sit down in here, and here is where you eat. So the oven roast is a different thing. We're not going to be talking about the oven roast today. There are three options here. There's pay with money, pay with points, and pay with voucher. Pay with money is basically you use your money to pay for your meal. Pay with points, you use your points to pay for your meal. There are these two different currencies in here. It all depends on which one you have the most of. You should probably use that one. And then there's pay with voucher. Now, if you use a voucher, you're going to get a lot more fresh ingredients than if you use any of these other two methods. And you guys are like, what's the deal with fresh ingredients? We will go over that. Now, for my example here, I'm going to go with money because, as you can see, I have way more money than I have points, so we're going to go pay with money. Now, there's a bunch of pre-made meals for you right here. And before we get into pre-made meals, I'm going to go into a custom platter so that I can tell you guys about the different skills and how each of the meals works. And basically, these meals that you see here, it's just a combination of custom ingredients, of the ingredients that you have available to you. So we're going to go to custom platter, and you guys will notice that I don't have all of the ingredients available yet because I'm probably not even halfway through the game. I've mentioned multiple times, I'm going to be the last content creator to finish this game because I'm just enjoying it so much, doing every single side quest and just having fun with it, that I don't want the fun to end, so I'm not too much in a hurry to get to like end game and high rank. It's like, look, I'm taking my sweet time, so I don't have a lot of ingredients. Don't judge me. Anyway, moving onward. So we're looking at ingredients here. There are three types of ingredients. You have meat, you have fish, and you have vegetables. And what happens here is that meat will reinforce your attack skills, fish will reinforce your defensive skills, and vegetables will reinforce your elemental defensive skills. So what does this mean? Let's say, for instance, we do a dish that has 2 meat portions on it. Notice how now under status effects, we have attack up S. S stands for small, so it's a small buff to your attack, right? Okay, that's cool. Now let's add 2 more portions of meat. We now have attack up M. That means that it increases your attack even more than attack S. So this dish right here is what chef usually calls the meat platter, except if there are fresh ingredients, the chef will try to include the freshest meat ingredients into the meat platter. So it's just a convenient way for you to get your attack up M if all you want to do is get attack up, and boom, it's just sitting there for you to go and get that particular buff. Okay, so that's how you get attack. Now let's remove some of these. How do I remove these ingredients? Okay, I have to cancel selection and go back. Anyway, now if you go into fish, let's say we do a meal with 2 pieces of fish, and there you go. You get your defense up S. That's a small defense increase. If you go through and you put 2 more pieces of fish, you're going to get defense up M. So it's not particularly complex. Now, let's go into vegetables. Vegetables is pretty much the same thing. So you select your vegetables. And you can see already we have elemental resistance up S. And then we get another vegetable, elemental resistance up M. So what's the difference between defense and elemental resistances? Defense is physical damage. Elemental resistances is any type of elemental damage that you will be taking. So lightning, water, fire. So if a monster breathes fire onto you and you're having a lot of trouble dealing with the fire damage and you want to get more defense, you want to get more elemental resistances. Okay? So that's the gist of it. Now, you can combo these however you like. So say, for instance, okay, so I want to get a little bit of attack and a little bit of defense. Well, then you want to get a little bit of meat. And then you want to get a little bit of fish. And you now have a little bit of attack up, a little bit of defense up. There you go. That's how you manipulate the status effects. Now, there is something beyond status effects, which you guys can clearly see from all the things that are popping up in here. So first, let's start by talking about the fresh ingredients. So if you go to custom platter, I want you guys to pay attention to where it says meal effects on it's near the top right there, meal effects. So any meal that you eat is going to increase your stamina by 25. However, if that meal also contains fresh ingredients, like you can see that there's one fresh ingredient in the meat selection, which is this one right here, you also get additional health. You get 10 additional health for yourself and 4 additional health for your palico for every fresh ingredient that you get. So say you want to get as much health as you possibly can, well then you go and you look for the freshest ingredients. Like here's some fresh fish, and then here's some fresh vegetables, and boom. Usually the chef's, I think it's the chef's choices platter or whatever, tries to get the freshest ingredients onto you, so you can select that off of the listed stuff. But you can see you gain a bunch more health. The thing is, you're sacrificing your attack buffs, your defense buffs. In this case, you still get an elemental resistance small because there are 2 pieces of vegetable here which are giving you small elemental resistance. Okay? So that's fresh ingredients, and that's like the type of stuff that you can get out of status effects. Next, you still have the food skills. So how do food skills work? Well, it's actually pretty simple. If you actually hit the touchpad while you're standing in the ingredients section, you will see this. So courage is food that has a red stamp on it, which you guys can see in the case of the meat. It's this one, it's this particular row right here. You can see that's got the red stamp. Same thing for fish, there's a red stamp on top. Same thing for vegetables, red stamp. Okay? So if you look at the courage, it's the red stamp. Then you have resilience, blue stamp, same thing. Vigor, acumen, and artillery. All of these things are going to give you different buffs. So right here you have feline polisher, requires 2 pieces of courage food. This will speed up your sharpening time. Feline rider, it's going to make it easier for you to spam mount, which is something that I personally like a whole lot. So I tend to use this as often as possible. Then feline slugger makes it easier to stun monsters. Now you'll notice, but wait a second, Rurikhan, that one requires 6 pieces of food. You can only combine 4 pieces of food so far. Like I told you at the start of this video, I am not that far ahead into the game yet, which is why my canteen at this point can only support 4 ingredients. As I move further and further into the game, eventually, I'm assuming it's a natural supposition that my canteen is going to support 6 ingredients, and at that point, I will be able to activate the feline slugger skill. So it's a good idea for you to look over all of these skills, see which ones better suit you. Like you have the resilience over here, which allows you to recover quickly when sent flying, prevents you from getting knocked on your butt, prevents from fading one time when damage. The feline moxie is actually really good. It's like if you die, you actually don't die. You just stay alive once with 1 hit point. So that's really good for whenever monsters are wailing on you and about to get like a near one-shot off of you. Then there's a bunch of more skills out here. I'm not going to go through every single one of these skills. It's just enough for you to know how to actually get them. So like, for instance, acumen requires 4. This one right here, feline medic, increases health recovery from items. This is going to require 4 purple foods. That means you can get those purple foods from whatever you want. So say, for instance, okay, I want to get the acumen with attack and defense. Then you come over here, you select 2 pieces of purple meat. Then you go to the fish and select 2 pieces of purple fish, and you will now see the chance to get the feline medic over there, stacked together with attack up and defense up. It's not going to give you any additional health because none of these particular ingredients are fresh, but you can basically tailor the buffs that you're going to be getting on your specific hunt. Now, another important thing, meal effects, you get those 100% of the time. Ingredient effects, you get those 100% of the time. Food skills, there is an activation chance. So you might get 1 food skill, you might get 2 food skills, you might get 3 food skills, you might get no food skills. And that chance also is influenced by whether or not you've used fresh ingredients, I believe, right? Like, for instance, if I go through here, oops, wrong meat. If I go through here, notice the activation chance also increases. So you get more health, and it also increases your activation chance of the food skills. The food skills, you guys are like, what are those other skills? Feline Defender High, Feline Weakener, Feline Bulldozer. These skills, you can look at them if you go, if you just go to this menu and press the food skills button, which is again the touchpad. Feline Defender High often decreases damage taken. Feline Weakener, Feline Bulldozer. So there's way too many. There's way too many skills for me to mention every single one of them in this video. The important thing for you to know is daily skills, there's always a chance of you activating them, but on top of daily skills, there are also the skills that you can get by combining different types of foods. So remember that before you go out on your next hunt. There are a bunch of buffs that you can get. You're always going to get additional stamina. So just eat. Make sure that you always eat before you go out on any hunt. Even if you're going out on a hunt that's about collecting stuff, you should eat because it increases your stamina, which therefore increases how much time you can actually run for. There's always advantages to eating, not to mention, who the hell doesn't want to see this animation? These are some of the best animations I've ever seen in Monster Hunter World. They are beautiful. These animations actually change depending on the level of your canteen. So like when you're just starting out, he actually cooks you a fish dish. Now he's cooking you a chicken dish, and eventually you will be able to you'll be able to get some other kind of dish, which the animation I have not seen yet, and I can't wait to actually see it. But Rurikhan, what if I already departed on my quest or expedition or whatever, and I completely forgot to actually eat something at the canteen? What am I supposed to do now? Do I cancel the quest, go back and eat? No, there's actually a canteen available at most camps. Now, not all of your quests will have camps available to you, but most of them do. So if you happen to forget to eat your food buff back at Astera or wherever it is that you're departing from, you can always just come to the canteen at the campsite. Even though I gotta be completely honest, the handler is not as good of a cook as the muscular chef, which doesn't really have any impact on your food buffs whatsoever, but it's just one of those things. I like seeing the muscular chef at work. You know, he really puts in the hours. He knows how to get the food just right. But anyway, you can do the exact same thing here that you do at the canteen. You can just pay with money. You can choose the custom platter. You can have the Chief's Choice platter, whatever. And then you order the meal, same thing. And she cooks it right here just for you. But again, she's not as good at it as the chef. Muscular chef is completely irreplaceable. So really, eat at Astera. You're probably better off. Anyway, you guys, thank you very much for watching this video. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below, and I will see you guys in the next one.